And we are back.
We are back, Bumble Bitches.
Episode 222. Season 2, episode 22.
It's a good number.
I don't know where we're actually at.
You mean like number-wise for episodes?
Right. In terms of actual, like, legit full-length episodes. Because we have over 1,000 videos on YouTube.
We have 1,000 videos.
Over 1,000 because of shorts and clips and content.
That's wild.
It's I don't even know how many hours of actual content we've made at this point. You factor in what we've deleted, what has aired, like technical issues, we've got to be well over 400 hours of recorded content.
That's insane.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So
that's a lot of hours. Isn't it 500 hours to master something?
10,000 hours to master something.
10,000 hours. That's what it was.
So that mastery at 10,000 hours, people don't really understand that. They always just say it takes 10,000 hours to master something. So that's not true.
Right.
Because if you're doing something wrong, you're going to master it wrong.
Yeah.
But the actual mastery aspect is at your current skill level. Mm-hmm. In order for you to become a master at your skill level, it takes 10,000 hours. But during that 10,000 hours, you learn new techniques and new things, so that 10,000 hours kind of resets. But when you look at the 10,000 hours to master something, that's 40-hour work weeks for 5 years.
Okay, 40-hour work weeks
for 5 years. Wow. So if you did something...
does that include like breaks and vacations, or is that...
That's five work days, 40 hours a week for 5 years. If you were to work...
For 52 weeks a year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Which is why when people are like, I wish I could do this better. Well, are you working on it? Well, I doodle, or I dabble.
Right.
It's not the same thing.
Okay.
It's also why natural talent at something will fail you eventually. It's why ego kills talent, because you stop honing your craft.
Right.
So I thought about that because of the amount of time that I've put into video and photo and editing and all of that shit. Mm-hmm. And like, I think about tattooing, and I have way more than 10,000 hours tattooing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Way more than, 27 years in the industry. I've got a lot more into body modification than anything else in my life. Mm-hmm. But that's always evolved. And, I've gotten better over and over and over again, but the mastery has changed because I have new understanding of art, or new understanding of editing, or a new program comes out, or whatever. I was about to go down a very big rabbit hole of photography and editing and talking about digital art, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Why?
Honestly, because I just don't want to get into that conversation.
Okay.
I am very overwhelmed with the whole photography thing right now, because I've been deep diving camera shit and like wanting to get back into that I think I've made it a point of depression for me. It's like decision
overstimulated.
Fatigue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depression's definitely not the right word. I think that word gets used too often.
Takes away the meaning of it.
Yeah. I think people throw that word around because they don't have a better word for what they're feeling. I'm very overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. I am very overwhelmed with a whole lot of things right now.
Yeah.
Between trying to redo the websites. If you are listening to this podcast and you are a web developer, and that is what you do for a living, send me your portfolio to chris@tobebetter.com. I have 3 websites that need to be built. One of them is redoing the tobebetter.com website. I need a web guy. So if you're listening to this and this is what you do, for the love of God, email me, because I want to work with people who support us and not just give my money to some Joe Schmo that I don't want to do that. So,
okay.
But we have 3 websites that need to be built. We want to start doing photos again. I want to do more with the podcast than what we're currently doing. Like, I have a whole lot of things that, decision fatigue.
Yeah.
I'm so overwhelmed and exhausted with all of it that I just want to turn my brain off. That's why I've been up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning every night. I'm laying in bed trying to like zone out watching TV to get the fucking noise to stop so I can fall asleep. And I wake up, and as soon as I wake up, it's either a song. I wake up songs stuck in my head.
I do that too.
Every morning, or I wake up feeling like dog shit because I didn't sleep the night before, and I'm still obsessing over what I went to bed the night before with.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, when you're ready to make a schedule, I have my days planned out.
Yeah.
Like, I get 15-minute reminders before my next task happens at this point.
Yep.
So, and I've also decided that I've reached out to Tasha, and she's going to have conversations, but I think I'm going to move forward with that.
Yeah. I would like to sit down with them. They'll be here in May.
Okay.
So we can go to dinner with them. I was actually I know that they have kids and dogs, and it would be difficult for them, but I thought about reaching out to them for Vegas to see if they wanted to travel with us, because that would give us an extra level of security while we were there.
Yeah, and that would give...
It would make me feel better.
Yeah, it would also give Ivy hands-on experience with us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
Because she is a service animal. I don't know. I haven't even talked to him about that. I did talk to him a little bit about the film that was on that bar of soap. And he said that he thinks it's because of the heat down here that it like sweated.
Okay.
But we talked about texture issues and shit like that too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tasha said that cling wrapping and cellophane right after it sets would help eliminate that. So.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't have anything for banter. I don't have anything new that I want to really talk about. I'm processing a lot, and I don't want to say something that I'm going to regret saying or be taken out of context. So.
Oh, did I talk about my morning this morning?
You did not.
Oh,
That was before I realized that we didn't drop your vehicle off for an oil change this morning.
Yeah.
And that I started all of this over. So if you would like to reiterate that point, by all means, have at it.
So I did muffins for Mom this morning, and it was my first muffins for Mom at our son's school, and I'm so stoked about it. He was so excited that I was there. He was showing me everything, and he showed me where he would get straws for lunch, and I'm going to get emotional thinking about it. Because he has his own little life outside of me. Oh, God. One day he's going to be a man. This didn't happen the first time, guys. I don't know what I just did to myself.
It actually didn't happen the first time.
Yeah, we ate muffins, and then we built a bracelet together. And then we watched videos about a disco ball. If you didn't know, I guess disco balls were mass produced in Kentucky or in Louisville. Is Louisville in Kentucky?
Maybe.
Louisville. That's where it was at. They were mass producing disco balls. And he was just super intrigued about them. And then we had like 10 minutes left for muffins for Moms. And he looked at me. He was like, Mom, I'm bored. I want to go to class. And I was like, no, I get it. That's okay. I can go home and do stuff too.
That's funny.
And then got home, did some gardening, some pruning. We have birds in the yard now. I mean, more birds than there was before. I got a bird feeder. Super stoked about that. Daughter is sick today, so she was outside helping me with the gardening. I'm having an okay day. I feel bad having a good day knowing that you're not.
Why do you feel bad?
Oh, God, I just got the tears to stop. I wish I could suck them back in like a turkey baster. Because you're my other half. And even though me continuing the way that I do, like day-to-day life and being happy and having a good time, is an anchor for you, I feel like I'm leaving part of me behind in the day. Does that make sense?
Because I'm not okay?
Yeah.
No. I mean, it could be worse.
There's nothing I can do about it either, so.
I get that. I just, I really don't want to get into all this on the podcast.
We don't have to.
To be clear, this is not an us thing by any means. It's a business thing, a podcast thing, a content thing,
A life thing.
a hobby thing,
Time thing.
time thing, routine thing, right?
Allocating time,
Right.
all of
Okay.
that. Yeah. It's a restructure of life.
Yeah. Which just fucking happens all the time with us.
It feels like there's a constant season of growth.
It doesn't always feel like growth.
No. I think that this will be, though.
It will be. It's uncomfortable, which means that
Right.
there's going to be something better on the other side of it. And I know that. It just sucks to be where I am currently.
I know.
And I know that there's things that I can do. Like, I really don't want to get into this in the
Okay.
podcast. I'm going to stop talking. Can we do some emails? Because I don't.
So this email is titled Religious. Oh gosh, what is Twitch saying to me? I had an email pop up. Religious question from an atheist. Dear Chris and Peach, hello to you too. Oh, and hello to you two screeners. If you are religious, I would like to apologize in advance if I offended you. I know that you're the first and probably the second line of defense to get to Chris and Peach, so please don't let my words pervert my email from getting to them.
That's very polite.
Right, that was...
And well said.
I feel very taken aback. Like, I can tell that you've worked on your language skills. That's something that I'm trying to work on. I want people to be impressed like that.
Yeah.
When I say some things, I almost said shit. When I say some shit, I would like to take the time to say thank you for reading my email, and to you screeners as well. Chris, to avoid your inexorable question. What does inexorable mean?
Don't know.
What does inexorable mean? Absorbable. That's not what I said. Inexorable. Question of, why are you emailing us? The answer lies in the paragraph after my following statement. Okay. And the real question begins in the paragraph. Now here is the issue. Everything else is detail and background information, so please bear with me. Peach, I would like to have to apologize. I would like to have an apology specifically for you because I know you will most likely be the one reading the email out loud, and it may make you feel uncomfortable as it will be a different perspective of your belief system. Just know that none of what you will be reading has anything to do with essay or any kind of abuse.
This is a normal discussion. I don't understand the need for all of the
pleasantries.
disclaimers. I feel like there's a lot
A
of
lot of disclaimers, yeah.
Yeah. So either they're gonna really fucking challenge us, or they're gonna be really shitty and they're trying to tone down the shittiness before it starts.
It could also be a trauma reflex because they're so misunderstood when they speak that people get so angry at them that they feel the need to preface that way. Wild. It may make you feel uncomfortable as it will be a different perspective of your belief system. I'm hung up on that because different belief systems or challenging my belief system doesn't make me uncomfortable.
No, it's how we grow.
Right.
It's got to be done with respect, which clearly it is.
Right. If you are... Oh, God, I hate I'm about to say this, but the masses will understand. We all know the Karen who will scream Bible verses to defend super shitty behavior. That makes me uncomfortable. If you're that kind of person, that will definitely make... If you are just trying to have a conversation about your belief systems and we're trying to understand one another, that's not going to make me uncomfortable at all. Not only is it growth, like my husband said, that's getting to know another human being.
Mm-hmm. And like we always say, we love you anyways.
Oh, yeah.
The week that this comes out, the previous Friday, I believe, we'll have had the relationship episode drop.
Okay.
And if you guys are listening to this, that statement that I just made about we love you anyways is very heavy in the relationship episode that dropped the Friday before this episode. So go back and watch that. It's very good content. I'm actually going to drop it to Patreon some point this week.
Ooh, a little early release.
Well, they're completely caught up on the I versus you statements. They've gotten every video from the I versus you category except for the relationships one. And I'm going to drop that this week.
Okay.
We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from what we're doing with those episodes.
That's fantastic.
So I'm excited for that. It makes me feel good because we're doing more than just emails at that point.
I feel like I know that email conversation can be productive conversation. I feel like those conversations are on a different level of life changing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because we are practicing things that are in theory, in real life, and resolving things, and we're changing each other's minds, and we're getting new perspectives. It's super dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're having an open dialogue.
Back into the email. Mm-hmm. I am emailing you because I honestly have no idea where else to turn to, and I already drowned in the sea Google search. I've been listening to you two for a while now and know that you guys practice religion. How you guys speak, blunt and straightforward, while also asking thought-provoking questions, really resonated with me along with some of your views. The random religious talks does not deter me.
Good.
Oh, I love hearing that. I get worried about that sometimes. I'm not going to lie.
But why would it deter you? Because you don't agree with it? That's okay. It's
Right.
okay to not agree with somebody. That's how we grow.
Yeah.
But getting mad and turned off and I'm not going to listen to you, you don't have the right to speak because I don't like it.
Or getting shitty with us because of our beliefs.
Right.
And yeah.
You don't have to believe in what I believe in. It's okay.
Yeah. You don't have to have the same life that we have. You don't have to look the way that we look.
I think Checkers French fries are the best French fries from any chain.
So good.
But if you were like Arby's curly fries are superior, I'm not gonna be like, fuck you, I'm never speaking to you again. How dare you
You're
insult
wrong.
my taste buds? I don't care. I'm not eating.
Right.
That's your flavor.
Yeah.
Enjoy that shit.
If we're sent, I'm going to be like, you're wrong.
There's a Arby's and a Checkers within a half a mile.
Yeah.
So I can get Checkers fries and you can get Arby fries and we can get a Frosty from Wendy's on the way home.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy. We can, because we all know that you dip your French fries in your Frosty.
100%.
So as long as your taste buds are satisfied and you're smiling while you're eating, I don't give a fuck. I'm not the one eating your food.
Right.
There you go. That's my view on religion. Your relationship matters. Your relationship to your God matters. That is your relationship. My relationship looks like Checkers fries and a Wendy's Frosty. Yours may not look like that. That's cool. I'm satiated.
Mm-hmm.
I want Checkers.
Oh, do you want that for lunch?
Bring on the big Buford and the extra large fries.
I can do that for you, babe.
I'm very curious to see where this is going.
I'm really hung up on the food analogy though. Like that was
Why?
good because there's so many different combinations of things and nobody gets pissed off. I mean, people do. You can't put pineapple on pizza. Fuck you. The sweet and the salty works together. I will die on that hill. And I say it that way because we're friends.
Right. Well, let's think. Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Was there more to your thought? Am I interrupting you?
Yes, but it's
Then finish-
trailing.
Okay. I'm really gonna try to not do that. Somebody said that I cut you off last night while we were having that conversation on the couch.
Yeah.
And I didn't cut you off. You paused, and I was like, I need you to stop for a minute so that I can process. And I stopped the
Oh
TikTok.
yeah, I took a breath. I breathed.
And then I hit it again. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And they were like, why'd you cut her off? And I'm like, I didn't. I watched the video again. What are you talking about?
Right.
I was
listened
actively
to it.
listening to what she was saying, and I needed to process what she said to move forward. But like, anyways, I don't even remember what I was going to say now. I just did it to myself.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Gotta get you some of that lion's
What
mane.
were you saying?
That I like the food analogy that you did because of the different combinations. Oh, and people don't judge people for food combinations, right?
Pineapple on pizza
Yeah.
is what you said. I don't need lion's mane. I just need to slow the fuck down.
Okay.
If you like pineapple on pizza and somebody else doesn't and they say you're wrong for it, what does it matter? Why does your food preferences matter to other people? Why is that something that you're concerned about?
Right.
I saw a TikTok yesterday that was like, imagine being a grown man who has ducks on his dashboard. And I went to the comment section and like I hit comment and started typing. Imagine being a grown man worried about what another grown man is doing with his fucking life. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. And I just deleted it, right? Because you're an idiot. I'm not going to have a battle of wits with an unarmed opponent. But I did look at the first comment, and the first comment was exactly what I was typing. And it had like 9,000 likes on it. I was like, apparently this is a thing. And that's how I view you. If you're getting negative about somebody else's food choices, you have a fucking problem. The problem is not their food choices. It's your outlook on life and your superiority complex and your ego believing that other people need to live life the way that you're living your life.
Right.
Grow the fuck up. You are not 12. You are not in middle school. You don't get to do that.
I like the little finger wag.
This shit drives me nuts. I don't care if somebody doesn't agree with me. I don't care if somebody has a different lifestyle than me. If you are watered and I am watered and we can have a polite conversation and love each other, fucking dope. If you want to come at me sideways, I'm going to match that energy. Then what? We're going to be combative towards each other? What the fuck is that going to solve?
Right.
How is that helping anyone? It's not. Which falls right back into the relationship episode that we just recorded. I'm done. I'm done. We haven't even gotten into the fucking email yet. We're 20 minutes in of nonsense.
Just having conversation.
Yeah. Very curious to see where this is going, though.
Although
They've piqued my interest because of the way they open.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Although I am an Advent listener, my husband is not and has no real desire to start. He will listen to my takes and is willing to implement the things I suggest.
Because he cares about you. Mm-hmm. That's good.
My following statement, and I truly do not mean to offend, and I apologize in advance. I am firm in my belief that a God, meaning all of them, does not exist.
Okay.
I also believe that some people just need a God, kind of like a security blanket or a way of having guidance.
Yep. I agree.
I agree with that.
What's wrong with that, though?
Right. I used to be that person because I wasn't religious my whole life. I found Christ a year ago. January 14th, to be exact. I wrote it down in my Bible. It's a very special day to me. And I would look at religious people who would be like, I'm fucking going through it. I'm just going to pray to God. And I would be envious, like, must be nice, right? To have so much faith in something. Like, I can't have that. Like, they're anointed. They're some special being who was born with this faith and they just have it. And they were chosen to be able to lean on this God. And I can't. That's fucked up. That was my mindset because I thought I was undeserving that. If there is a God, why would he allow these things to happen? Right? And I don't remember where I was going with that. Well, I used to be that person and I'm not anymore because I do go to God for security. And that warmth. And when you're not here to hug me, Jesus, ding dong. My husband's not here and I need help.
Yep.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You know that when there's major catastrophes, people who don't have faith have faith.
Yeah.
God, I don't know if you're real or not, but if you're listening, right? Because you don't know.
Right.
You can be really fucking convinced when times are good or when things are kind of bad. And then when people go through some really hard shit, they find their faith. And sometimes that's what it takes for them to develop a relationship with God. I'm not saying that's the right or the wrong thing, but I know that is a thing.
Right.
Jailhouse religion is a prime example of that.
Yeah. On my YouTube, I listened to people who had like near-death experiences and they were atheists, or they were a pastor and they thought they were preaching the word of God, but they died and they realized they really were not.
Right.
And lately, a lot of ex-pagans who have found Christ have been popping up, and a lot of them experience demonic activity the same way that I did when I was following all of that. Oh, there's so much on my brain right now. Where was I going with that? Where was I going with that?
I don't know.
You're going to have to cut that.
Okay. Sorry for the word cut. She lost her train of thought. I would like to add on to my own thought process with what you were saying, though, and that is, if somebody is going through a hard time and they find their faith and that faith gives them comfort, or they use the faith temporarily to find comfort, I don't see anything wrong with that. If you are finding something that gives you a little bit of peace, it's not a bad thing. And
Right.
and so on to the emailer saying that they don't believe in any of that.
That sucks.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I am not somebody who prays when I need something.
Right.
I pray because I'm grateful.
Oh, I do that too, yeah.
And from my understanding, there are a lot of people out there who are like, give it to God, give it to God, give it to God, give everything to God, ask him for this, ask him for that, blah, 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 blah. And I look at this as a relationship. I don't want somebody coming to me every time they need something. God, I stubbed my toe. God, heal my pinky. God.
I can't reach the remote.
Right.
Yeah.
God, I'm fat. Help me lose weight. God, blah, blah, blah. I, as a parent and as somebody who has people in life that I love and it is my duty to protect and provide for, I don't want them coming to me for everything. I want you to come to me when you have exhausted all of your fucking resources and efforts and you have nothing left to give. Then come to me. Then let me help you. Then let me give you guidance because you've tried it on your own. So there's a difference there. So I believe, and this is so totally a me thing, and there's scripture that will probably say otherwise. I think that I should be grateful and giving glory and holding him up, but not coming to him every single time I need something.
Right.
I think that when you have a relationship based off of what you can give me, that's not a relationship. There's no love there.
What can you do for me?
Right.
Yeah.
It's usury.
I agree with that.
But if I'm wrong and there is no God and I get peace and I get gratitude put into the universe based off of my thought process. You wake up and I'm fucking glad I woke up today. I'm grateful for my family's health. I'm grateful for our listeners, our fan base, our finances, our other businesses, the people who bless me every day just by being here.
Mm-hmm.
How is that making my life any worse? It's not. All it's doing is making me feel good about all the dope shit in my life versus focusing on the negative.
Also, I think it gives us structure too.
Yeah. Yep.
I remembered where I was going with that.
Okay.
Because you were talking about like jailhouse religion being a thing. People who experience true evil find God real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back into the email. I do not think any less of a person for having a religion and feel that I am quite respectful of those who do.
Good.
I typically keep my thoughts and opinions of the matter to myself unless asked directly for them. Chris, you'd ask for details. I see religion like sexuality. Who you love/pray to does not affect me.
Same.
Yep. With all that said, my husband is religious. He is a Christian, although he does not attend a church and hasn't been at the start and have not been at the start of us knowing each other.
Going to church.
Yeah. Okay. To clarify, he didn't stop going because of me. He wasn't attending before me. He practices the religion outside of church.
He has a relationship.
Right. We have 2 kids together, the oldest being 6, relevant later. For further context, I'm 29 and my husband is 31. We were friends for 6 months before we started dating. Dated for a year before getting married. Together for nearly 9 years now, coming March of 2024. Not sure if this is relevant, but might be to some. During the friendship/talking stage, I had a single brief interaction with my most recent ex. An entanglement, if you will. Does it mean you cheated on him?
I don't know. Keep reading. Let's see what they say.
Even though my husband and I weren't together yet, it really hurt him. I then blocked the ex's number and on Facebook, as it's really my only social media. As I realized I never want to cause that kind of pain to him again and that I really wanted to be with him.
So even if it wasn't cheating, something that he was not okay with happened. It's good enough information.
Yeah.
Being that this is about religion, I can't imagine that that's very relevant, but we'll see. It might be.
Right. During the friendship and early dating stage, we had all the discussions of religion and our stances of the matter. Kids, along with their education. I will go into further detail on these topics in the following 2 paragraphs. My want to be a stay-at-home mom and retirement plans. More recently, we had discussions of each other's expectations of one another and added check-ins thanks to your podcast.
Love that. Seems very healthy so far.
Mm-hmm. A bit more background on my views and when I became an atheist. I grew up in a practicing, non-practicing Christian household with Christian values and occasional church going. I became atheist at the age of 9. As for my stance on the matter of religion is, don't try to convert me. I understand and respect that you have religion, just please respect that I don't.
So why are you not comfortable having the conversation about it?
Right.
Do you feel like every time somebody's talking to you about faith that they're trying to convert you, or they're just trying to express their love or their point?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that there are people out there who will absolutely cram religion down your throat and tell you that you're wrong and you're a sinner and
You're
you
going
need
to hell.
Jesus. And right.
Yeah.
There are the fire and brimstone Christians out there, but I don't believe that that's the majority.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Those people make me uncomfortable.
I think anybody that tries to force their opinion on you is wrong.
I agree.
You look
Period.
at politics and you look at what's going on in protests and all the shit that's happening in the world right now. All of that is wrong to me. But they don't want to. It's only a problem when it becomes a religion conversation,
Right.
because that's part of a narrative. But I digress. That's not something I want to get into.
Okay. I will not try to convince you that your God is not real. My time and energy is spent elsewhere. My time and energy is better spent elsewhere. This was expressed to my husband at the beginning, and I also told him that if religion is a big part of what he desires in a relationship, he should look elsewhere, because I will not be the one for him. I love that. I appreciate a person who's willing to go, I understand and respect that that's what you want in your relationship. I am not that person. You can move on. No ill will. I'm not going to hate you. I'm not going to talk shit about you on Facebook. That's being a human being. It's being an adult, a mature, emotionally mature human adult.
It is speaking indefinites, though.
What do you mean?
It's speaking indefinites.
What I just said or what she said?
What she said.
I also told him that religion is a big part of what he desires in a relationship. He should look elsewhere.
No, before that, she's not willing to. She's an atheist. She's just stand firm in that. Is basically what I'm getting at. There's no chance or possibility whatsoever for her to ever change her mind on that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
I think that's a problem. I think that if you're not willing to have your mind changed, or you believe that nobody can ever change your mind about something, and that's just facts.
You're closed-minded.
You're. It's just not. That's not how life works.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, it is, but if that's the way you're choosing to your life, it's going to hinder you more than help you, and that's where I think it becomes a bad thing. You should be able to have a discussion with anyone and not be offended or bothered by it. And even if somebody is trying to force their religion down your throat, they're trying to get you to see their perspective. Just understand that that's their perspective, and you can agree to disagree and not have to get personal or angry or vindictive or salty about it.
I was just thinking, you don't have to take it personally.
Right.
If someone,
It's choice.
Right. If someone starts to become animated and frustrated and angry with you because you are not telling them that they're right or what they're saying is fact, that's a them problem.
Yep.
You do not have to match that energy. Be like, damn, bro, why are you yelling at me right now?
Right.
You recognize we're in the middle of Target. Continuing on. He said that he knows that God placed me into his life and he has respected that I hold no religion, while I respect that he does. The discussion of the matter of kids and religion was that the kids are not born with religion, they are born into a religion. And that when we have kids, I, myself, don't want to expose them to it and will let it happen naturally.
Well, wouldn't him bringing the religion to the kids be the way that it naturally exposes them?
I was just thinking me and you being religious as we are naturally exposing our children to it.
Right. That is natural.
Right. They see us praying.
But to remove him and his faith from your kids is making this a one-sided parenting. You can't do that.
It is, yeah.
That's not fair to either one of you. And it's definitely not fair to the kids. If you have two parents with two different belief systems, why aren't you having those conversations with your children?
Right.
If you were able to make the decision at 9 years old that you wanted to be an atheist, what makes you think that your kids aren't capable of doing the same thing?
Right.
That's a very selfish statement.
Yeah. As a child who grew up in a household where we never went to church, never listened to sermons, never read a Bible, there were things like we don't say the Lord's name in vain. The Lord says you listen to your parents.
Yeah, manipulation shit.
Right, that kind of shit. Now as an adult who has faith, looking back, if I were just shown the tools that religion has to offer, I would not have as hard of a time as I have had in my adult life. So the adults in my life made a choice to not expose me to those tools, thus leading me into a harder life than I would actually have to experience emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of it.
You know why all these major religions last as long as they do? Why we have Christianity and Islam, and we have Buddhism and Sikha. I may be wrong on that one.
I'm gonna need you to just tell me.
Anyways, the reason that we have these religions lasting as long as we do is because they are based on morality. Even if you don't have faith, there is a lot of be a good person in the Bible.
Right.
The golden rule comes from the Bible. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. Luke said, more than just love thy neighbor as you love yourself.
Right.
Right? Like there's a whole lot of really good teachings that come from these religions that are based on morality. So you can learn a lot from having scripture read to you, or reading scripture, or reading books on Buddhism or Islam. There's a lot that can come from that is good. Otherwise, it would not have lasted as long as it has.
Right.
People get hung up on the faith aspect of it. So when it comes to the kids, and this is the reason I brought that up, if you have two cups on the table and one of them is just water, or one of them is just water that might be poisoned, and one of them is water that has nutrients in it. We've put a little bit of niacin in there. There's some extra vitamins. It's mineral water, right? This water is superior. And you know that one of them is the superior water and one of them is just plain. Why wouldn't you drink the better water knowing that there's more to it that could benefit you?
You said that one had poison in it.
It could. Society, other people's opinions.
Oh, gotcha.
Atheism.
Oh, we're not just picking a cup and drinking it. We know what's in the cups.
We know that one of these cups is better for us than the other one.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to pick the one that's better for me.
Right. It doesn't mean that you're worshiping that cup.
Right.
It means that there are things in there that could benefit you.
Right.
And there are things in the other one that is not going to serve you. Why not take the better cup?
Yeah.
Why not drink something that is going to be better for you at some level than one that could potentially harm you? And that's the reason that I brought all of that up. I would rather have something that's going to nourish me at some level than not.
Right. I would rather have something that puts me in like 0.5 plus versus something that's a guaranteed deficit.
Right. And when it comes to faith in your children, if the regular water that is not going to do anything for them other than hydrate them is enough for you, why wouldn't you be willing to at least entertain the idea of something that could teach them the golden rule?
Right.
Don't steal, don't lie, don't kill, or murder. I'm sorry, there's a difference between murder and kill. Don't murder. Love your brother. If you see somebody struggling, help them. Reach down and lift people up. Do more for those than they potentially do for you, because you are here to serve your community, to be a better person than what you think that you can be. I would rather teach my kid those covenants than just let them drink water and expect them to figure shit out on their own.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see how that's going to harm a child. Now, I do understand that there are extremes where people use religion to manipulate. It's a different discussion than having a relationship. And if her husband has a relationship with God and is not going to church and is not that person, why wouldn't you want him to instill those values in the child? She married this man.
Right. Well, are they married? Yes, they are married. You're right. She married this man. She married him for a reason.
Right.
Why wouldn't you want your children to be like the person you married? And part of the reason he is the way he is because of his religion.
Right. There could be an ebb and flow from both of you to your children to let them. How do you expect them to make a decision if they don't have the information? Right? Yeah. Anyways, this is not a fuck you thing to them either. It's just a discussion.
Conversation. All right. I myself don't want to expose them to it and will let it happen naturally, be it through other kids or family members.
Well, your husband is a family member.
Right. Okay.
That sounds like you don't want it in your house and you're willing to exclude it despite your husband.
Right. I was about to say, this is very controlling.
Right.
It's making me, yeah, you're right. This did make me very uncomfortable. Because at that point, if you didn't want to be with somebody who had religion, you shouldn't be with somebody who has religion. Okay. He also agreed to this, and I agreed if they were curious about it and asked questions, we'll answer them. And if they chose to know more, Then we'll have a discussion about churches and if he would like to attend one with the children, or if he would like to teach them himself. I also agree to celebrate the religious holidays such as Easter and Christmas. The kids haven't asked about it yet, although they both have been exposed to it via my father and the in-laws. As a parent with religion, I would feel like I have zero control in what my children are learning in that.
What do you mean?
Because she's pretty much said you have to be hands off with the children when it comes to religion. They have to broach the conversation with you, otherwise you can't talk about it. And she just said, but they're learning, they've been exposed to religion via my father and the in-laws. So why is it okay at your parents' household? Is it because you can't control your parents' household? And that's why you're okay with it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's family. Then father's family.
Right. You're going to be exposed to shit no matter what.
Right.
There's Christian children who get exposed to paganism while in school.
Yeah.
And if the kids are taking the things that are being said by their friends as fact and there's no discussion being had, that becomes a problem for me.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
That's what I meant when I said I'd feel hands off as a parent, like I'm not in control of the information.
Yeah.
My goodness. I'd be absolutely terrified if I wasn't having conversations with my children about religion, because you're right, they're going to learn about it everywhere else. And they're going to learn Satanism and all of those other things. I couldn't imagine blocking out those conversations.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Well, she said that they would have the conversations with them when the kids were ready to have them.
But the children have to broach the conversation.
Right.
And
and how often do kids actually come home and tell their parents everything that happened at school?
Right.
Right.
And that's the problem for me. You can't, me personally, I will not allow my children to dictate the conversations that we have. If there is a conversation that has to be had that's pertinent, and say they go to school and they hear that religion is a lie, it's all false, God is actually Satan and he wants nothing good for humanity. And then they internalize that. And then we never have that conversation. And then they become adults and they're like, fuck you, mom, for being religious. You lied to me all my childhood. Well, where did this come from? And they had all this built up resentment because here I am being religious, living my life. And they think that I am betraying humanity because I'm worshiping some deity who has no respect for life. I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen within families. And knowing that I could avoid that kind of disdain or discomfort within my own family relationships just by having the conversation for them to have the knowledge of it, I would do it 100%.
Well, it's the parent's job is to teach a child.
Right.
And even if you don't agree with faith, if you have an education on what it is and you understand religion and you understand the Bible,
Yeah.
you can have the conversation, even go and be like, I don't believe this. This is a story made by man. I believe in blah, blah, blah. You have the right to believe that. And what she said is that she wants the children to make the decision. So you need to, as an educator and as a parent, you need to be able to provide multiple arguments and then let them think for themselves.
Right.
This is actually a problem that I have with the school system. You get a bunch of people in a classroom where you're not being taught to think. You're being taught to be a factory worker. You are taught to be a drone.
Right.
You are being taught to follow what the powers that be tell you to follow, not to think for yourself. So if they are learning this from school and they're learning it from kids who have other parents who are not active and they're Googling things, what if they come with some fucking crazy cult conspiracy theory shit and that's what your 10-year-old believes?
Right.
Are you going to allow them to believe that? That a comet's going to come and get us and that on July 14th of 2035 that we're going to drink some magic Kool-Aid to get on the comet? Like, are you cool with that? Because that is misguided.
It is.
Anyways, that's just, this is one of those really big hypothetical what if conversations that don't really serve anyone. The point of all of this is that if you are going to allow your children to be free thinkers, they have to have the information to make decisions on their own.
Right.
And removing your husband's ability to speak in your home, I almost said his home, but in your home together, your house, you are negating 50% of the influence of your children. And you are doing it based off of your own wants and desires, and it removes his as a father. That is not fair to him. It's not fair to your children. You are doing a disservice to your household by removing his opinion from things.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Slenderman killings?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
So 2 kids, I want to say they were between the ages of 10 and 13, almost brutally unalived their friend because they believed that if they did that, Slenderman would come and take them away to his castle, and they would live in his castle with him and be dutiful servants and have this really dope life. They believed that. Children are very malleable, very moldable. No way in hell am I going to let them learn about super important things that I deem super important outside of my household in an uncontrolled environment.
Right. Well, that speaks to your values too.
Right.
That's why our children should be taught by us and not by a government-ran school system. All of that shit is indoctrination to some degree. Even you teaching your kids, passing down the things that you believe and hold sacred to yourself, it is indoctrination.
Right.
She is doing the same thing. By removing God and saying she's atheist and that it's not going to be in the house, she is indoctrinating her children into atheism.
Yeah.
That's not free thinking.
Right.
You're not allowing them to make their own decisions in doing that. You are removing their ability to think freely, weigh the things, especially if one of you are forcing your individual thoughts on your children.
Right.
But as a parent, that is your duty. You are supposed to instill the values that you hold close so that your children grow up to be what you believe is a decent person being, because your perspective on what is good is what your children should be taught because they are your children.
Right. And even if you don't believe in whatever you are giving them the information about, the information is important.
Right. So that they can think freely.
Right. When the children start getting older, I fully plan on having conversations with them about other religions and understanding people's faiths. And there is a whole world out there in the spiritual realm of what people believe in. Why would you shut your children off to that?
It depends on who you're asking.
Yeah.
You ask somebody who's extremely Christian, it's because they don't want to see them burn for eternity. They need to have that relationship. And if you talk to somebody who's extremely anti-God, you're teaching your children to be sheep, to follow this book that enslaves cultures. This white religion, this Western Christianity, even though it was in Africa way before it made it to the Americas, or even to England for that matter. It is what it is.
It's information to me.
It is.
Until somebody deems it worthy of value to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to the golden rule. If you can read a book or listen to a podcast that gives you good information that makes you change the way that you view your life and it improves your life, what is the problem there?
Right.
Why wouldn't you want that information to change your perspective, to better your life?
Yeah.
If something can give you more peace and you can be at more peace, you should do that.
Back into the email. During our relationship, from my perspective, religion has never been a problem. He never brought up throughout the years, and neither have I, until a recent discussion. Religion has never been a topic of conflict between us, nor was it during our last talk. Now, here is my issue. My husband seems to have fallen, either out of depression or a guilt, possibly both, and I don't know what to do. He believes the devil has him, and he doesn't believe asking for forgiveness will help him or save him, as he has asked for forgiveness before. He also believes he doesn't deserve forgiveness. Like I previously said, I do believe some people need religion as a way of guidance, and never have I tried to sway him from his beliefs. I also once held his religion as a child and thought you could ask for forgiveness multiple times and forgiveness will be granted. Because I am not religious, I don't know how to help him. As he is against organized religion, this was brought up during our last talk as I suggested he looked into nearby churches. The reason for the guilt is that he cheated on me with someone I don't know personally and met up with them multiple times during my first pregnancy until 8 months, and not again since our firstborn or had any contact with them since. No extra babies or disease came from this nearly 7-year-old affair. He came clean about it earlier this year in February of 2023, as well as sharing that he sometimes feels tempted to do so again with other women and swears he hasn't. It's just the thought and it's killing him. He feels and knows that he has betrayed me.
It sounds to me like he's worshiping you instead of his God.
That does sound like that, yeah.
There has been one perfect person that's ever lived, and we crucified him.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of religion. It's the entire point of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
The crucifixion and the resurrection is the entire foundation of what Christianity is. And you understand when you look at the people who followed Christ, his apostles, they were all broken, fucked up individuals, and he chose them. If God came back right now and this was the end times, which could be, I don't know. Do you think that God is going to go to the church and hang out with all these pastors who are preaching the gospel? That's not where he's going. He's going to the people who are hurting and broken.
Yeah, he's not going to Beyonce. He's not going to...
Shit, he might. She needs it.
Yeah, fucking Mark Zuckerberg. That's his name.
He needs it too.
Yeah, right. But I think of the people that he would focus on, it's not going to be the people who've already sold their souls.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be to the everyday person who is broken. I don't, but that's my belief system.
Right.
There are going to be people out there who feel otherwise. But if your husband has his faith and this is what he believes in, it sounds to me that he's lost his faith and he's putting his belief in like his worship in you.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, you're the one who can give him forgiveness.
Right.
Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's telling you like, I'm fucking guilt ridden over what I did and you need to forgive him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't forgive him, that's a different conversation altogether. But being that you guys are still together working through this, it sounds like you have.
Him saying that he still feels tempted at times to do that with other women, meaning cheat. I am somebody who has emotionally cheated with an ex-partner in the past. And it's because I was unfulfilled in that relationship. I have never once thought about cheating on my husband. And it's because you provide everything that I need, everything that I could ever want. I want to take a bath with you. Give me 5 minutes, babe, and you're in there. Hearing that leads me down the line of he is missing something in this relationship.
I agree something's missing.
Right. And that's a bigger problem than him just needing forgiveness over the fact he cheated on you 7 years ago. The fact that this could be a reoccurring problem, he has the willpower not to not do it now.
He's not doing it, is what she said.
Right.
So,
but
but that's normal behavior. Like
what, wanting to cheat?
Lusting after other people. If that wasn't such a big, and I'm not saying that it's good behavior. I'm saying that happens. And if it didn't happen and it wasn't a concern for the flesh, that wouldn't be in the Bible.
Right.
It would not be something that has been spoken on for thousands of years if God didn't know that was going to be a problem for people.
Right.
People, right? Not just men. People. We have a structure of how we should live our lives and give us the best outcome.
Mm-hmm.
If you start to lust after another person, you're wrong. And if you feel guilty about it, you talk to your person.
Which is what he did.
Right. I'm starting to lust after another person. I'm fucking up right now. You're my partner. We are combined till the death. This is the way that we're supposed to be living our lives, and I'm not okay. And I know this is going to hurt you because you're going to be in your feels about me looking after other women, but our relationship is not okay, and I'm lusting after other people. We need to find help.
Right.
If that doesn't happen and that conversation is not happening, the lustful eyes are going to become lustful touch.
Mm-hmm.
And then infidelity is going to start happening.
Yeah.
That's why they word it the way they do in the Bible, that if you have adulterous thoughts, you've already committed the sin.
Yeah.
If you can't recognize that we are imperfect and that he is holding to this sin as worse than other ones, lying is a sin.
Mm-hmm.
Him not telling you would have been a problem.
Right.
People lie all the time. Being unhealthy is a sin. Look at America's obesity epidemic.
Right.
It's just one of those things that like we put different weights on different things, which is why I said it sounds like he's worshiping them over his God. Because if he had his faith in the strength of his relationship and was not worshiping the relationship or her, he could go to God and be like, God, take this from me.
Right.
It sounds to me like his faith has shifted and he's not getting absolution.
Yeah, I agree.
If that's the right word, absolved.
Do you think that... So the emailer said that she believes that she doesn't make people uncomfortable when it comes to them having faith and whatnot.
Well, she also said she doesn't want to force down her throat either.
Right. Do you think that it got to a point in their relationship over the 9 years of him going, okay, very clearly, anytime I bring up religion, it's a problem?
It could be. Very well could be.
And
But
he
she said it
suppressed
wasn't.
it.
She said that religion has not been a conversation at all.
Right.
So maybe the original conversation where she made it very clear that she didn't want to have those discussions pulled that off the table for him, and he wasn't able to talk about it.
Yeah.
He also doesn't have a community of other Christians because he doesn't go to church. Church is a place for other people to go and meet up and find community. It's not necessarily about the religion aspect.
Right.
It's no different than going to jujitsu or going to a garden if you're a gardener. If you find places with like-minded people, you are going to find your tribe. And when you find your tribe and you're struggling, you have other men to go to about things. If they are good men, they will give you good advice. If your husband did not have his faith and was adulterous and was around other men who were doing the same thing, and those other men were poisoning him, that glass of water that's just plain water, he's going to drink from that water. And then what's going to happen? It's going to destroy your marriage.
Yeah.
We need more than we get. That's why people have the faith that they do. God, I can't carry this weight. I need you to carry some of this for me. It's going to break my spine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Especially if it gives you that little bit of strength. You going, babe, I believe in you. Does it for me. That's enough sometimes. Sometimes that is all I need to fucking hear to give me that little bit of extra strength to move. We need people to believe in us. We need to believe in something else sometimes. I don't see anything wrong with that. Not that that's relevant to what's happening. And I am very curious to see where the rest of this goes. But
Okay. Back into the email. Of course, I was hurt by this and had to process the information. During this time, I didn't smile or talk much and only replied with simple answers. When I did talk, it was to ask questions, and I only asked when I was ready to hear the answer and never in front of the kids. One of those questions was, is there something I'm not doing that makes you feel the need to seek attention elsewhere? And his reply was no.
it's a lie.
It is a lie.
He just doesn't know what it is. Right?
Or he doesn't feel comfortable saying it.
Right. Could be. It could be either of the, it could be a multitude of things, but that is a lie. There is something there that is making him seek outside of attention, or he wouldn't be doing it. That's all there is to that. It could be a character flaw. It could be that the newness of the relationship is gone. It could be that he doesn't want to be home. It could be that he doesn't feel loved. It could be that he hasn't had attention, positive attention in forever that makes him feel like he's worth something. There's a whole lot of things that go into that. Could be just a character flaw. Absolutely could be. But there is something there.
Right. Also, during this time, I refused to be intimate with him until I had fully processed my emotions. Although I wasn't intimate with my husband, I was still showing and accepting affection, such as hugs, kisses, and cuddles.
Showing and accepting. So she was doing those things too.
Yeah.
Okay.
As well as continuing to get his clothes ready for work and having his lunch and coffee ready to go, which confused my husband. When questioned about it, I would just shrug and state, because I love you. Once everything was processed, I decided that I'll forgive him, as I cannot see life without him, and I still see us growing old together. And even though he had expressed his desire to sleep with others, I still trust him. I know, fuck it, call me naive. I just can't explain why, and I just told him as such.
I don't think you're naive at all.
You've been with this person for almost 10 years.
This is what. Oh man, this is a healthy. This is a healthy thing. This
is having faith in a marriage and a person. This is what religion is. You can't explain it. You just know that you want to be with this person and you can see all of the good in them and you have this such amazing future. And you trust them and you know no matter what, at the end of the day, you can go to them and they will be there for you.
This is what it is to be married. This is what marriage is supposed to be. You are absolutely correct. If you have somebody that fucks up and they're hurting from it and you can see the remorse and that they're actually wanting to change their actions and you just shun them and leave that situation, you are never truly committed, for better or worse. Sometimes worse is cheating.
Yeah.
Sometimes worse is murder.
Yeah.
It could be a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
But if you truly love that person, you're willing to go through these things with them. That's what marriage is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. I forgave him in mid-April and never brought up the cheating again. Although I forgave him, I don't think he can ever forgive himself. I don't want to turn to any religious family members as nothing will stay private, nor do I want to speak to any of his or my friends, as I don't feel like it's my place to share this with them. Is there any advice on how to navigate this? Are there any Bible stories I could possibly point him to? Am I wrong on limitless forgiveness?
I don't think you're wrong on that, but it's not for you. Oh man. See, this is what I was talking about when that part where I cut, so I'm going to cut that, and it's not going to be in there, so nobody's going to understand it. But this is what I'm talking about, and the wrong information. Mm-hmm. His faith and our faith may not look the same,
Right?
but for us to be able to tell her what to do, like that's not us. We're not God. Mm-hmm. Like his faith and the way that he understands his faith is going to dictate that. The way that I understand faith may not be the way that he does it. You and I may not understand things the same way. This is why you have spiritual conversations with other people of faith, so that they can give you guidance into the things that you can utilize or the tools that are there.
That's why you have community with faith.
Right. Forgiveness is not a limited thing. It doesn't work that way. That's the whole point of Jesus being here in terms of faith. This man, I'm sure, has lied to somebody in his life.
Right.
And was he that worried about it and that destroyed over that lie that he's lost his faith over a lie? Because everyone lies at some point in their life. They don't let it destroy them. They move on from it.
Right.
If he needs forgiveness and truly needs forgiveness and is not able to get it from his God, it sounds to me like he needs it from you.
But she already said that she forgave him.
Yeah.
So what's the next step of that?
He still feels guilty about it.
Right.
So they need to have conversations until this is resolved.
Okay.
You can, here's a prime example of this. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Are you? Yeah. Goes about the day. You know, I'm not okay. Mm-hmm. By my answer, I'm not okay. Second scenario. Hey, are you okay? Knowing that I'm clearly off. No, but I'm processing and I will be. Very different conversation, right? Now you have information there that you can work with. Third thing would be you asking me that and then me going, I'm fucking going through a lot and here's what it is and this is what's happening and you get the full rundown and then we problem solve together. In every one of those scenarios, there is absolutely something going on. And though every one of those I told you we were fine, Step 1, argument 1, you don't feel fine after that engagement.
Right.
Step 2, you may not even feel positive about that engagement. So her forgiving him, maybe he doesn't feel like there's actual forgiveness there and he's still worried about the things that are happening. There needs to be reassurances with people sometimes. Too close. Yep. Reassurances matter. We need that, especially when you're a partnership with somebody and you're living a life together. There could be a doubt. Maybe that doubt is what's eating at him.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a conversation that he should be writing in about, not her.
I agree with that.
This is the community that people need. This is why we have the men's group and why you're bringing the women's group back. We're trying to create that community so that people can have these discussions. When we hypothetical about what somebody else is going through in their life and we try to assert our opinions on the opinions of others about what's going on in somebody else's life, that we're four people in now.
Yeah.
And what he's going through may not have anything to do with anything that we're hypothetically, and then you go and try to fix the things based off of the information that you gave us.
Make the situation worse, possibly.
It could make things worse.
Mm-hmm. It's like playing a game of telephone.
Right. There needs to be...
Did you get it?
I probably not. There needs to be a true, honest dialogue between the two of you of what's going on. And if he really just feels that guilty about what he did, and you are still here, and you are still willing to work with him as he's having other temptations, the guilt is kind of a good thing, because you know that as long as he feels guilty, he's not going to do it again.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that he's trying to show you. But if he can't forgive himself for what he did and you were to have left, he would have still had that guilt.
Right.
So you stayed. Now he knows that he needs to be better because you made the decision to forgive him. And that's the discussion. Hey, look, you did these things. Mm-hmm. And though I don't like that you did these things and it fucking hurt me, I forgive you. And you can tell that I forgave you because I'm still fucking here. Right? Like that's the discussion that needs to be had. And if he needs your forgiveness and not God's forgiveness, that's a gift that you can give him. And you can honestly give it to him and you can have those discussions, but you have to have the discussions. Maybe he went to his faith thinking it was going to make him feel better and he didn't feel better over it because he still feels like he needs to make amends to you in some way. Mm-hmm. They talk about that in Matthew. You remember, and you can watch it in season 4 of The Chosen. It's the second episode where Matthew and Peter are having their back and forth, and Matthew feels really fucking guilty about what happened, and Peter just wants to smash Matthew in the face over it, and then they end up hugging it out, and then they're much better afterwards. Mm-hmm. Forgiveness is a gift. You apologizing to somebody shows your remorse, but anything beyond that is solely on the person who is capable of giving you the gift of forgiveness. They don't owe it to you. So if you're giving him the gift of forgiveness, that's the conversation that needs to be had. And it needs to be a deep conversation so that he understands it.
Right.
Which honestly enough just comes down to you two communicating better. Mm-hmm. We're an hour and 7 minutes in, minus cuts.
You want this to be a short one?
I would like to do at least one more, even if it's a thank you email, just to get it a little bit longer.
So this one is a short one. It says, Peach question.
Okay. Good. I can check out.
Hello, my husband and I just started listening to your podcast and I need some of your advice. We also love all the advice given too and glad we don't feel alone about how we do things in our relationship. So I've seen a lot of similarities in what you talk about or say that match up with our thoughts on relationship.
I'll pause you. I'm sorry. That speaks on the community that we talk about so much. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you have a community of people who can relate to you. It goes back to the faith thing or Christian communities or whatever community, your tribe. So if you have somebody that you can relate to, that you already understand that you share values with, and you're able to go to them for an opinion, you are more likely to accept the constructive criticism from those people because you already believe that they have the same life values. Mm-hmm. We value traditional roles in our marriage. We value our marriage and relationship. We value the way that we want to raise our children. And other people who have those same values that can relate to us can give us advice. Mm-hmm. And we are more susceptible to accept that advice because we already agree with their values.
Right.
That speaks on the importance of the community that the husband from the last email needs. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I agree with that. However, I do have a question for you, Peach. What do you do in a situation where your husband has been injured or in lots of pain and is helping with things? Example, my husband has had an ankle surgery and 2 slipped discs in his back. He tries to do all the heavy lifting and help with moving stuff around or even a simple task like doing dishes. He has better days than others, of course. He gets irritated because I do those things as much as I can when I see he needs it or even just trying to help. Our biggest one is putting groceries in the car and bringing them in the house. How do you handle these things or go about helping him? We don't want me doing all the work, but also hard for me to have him do things when I can tell on his face he is in pain. Thank you. So,
I am so very curious about what you're about to say.
Really? I would observe my husband. I would. He would get me to ask him, I will ask you 3 times, hey, babe, do you need help with that? Hey, babe, I see you struggling. You need help with that? All right, this is the last time I'm asking you because you can't say I didn't ask you, do you need help? No? Okay. And then I will watch because my husband is a man. And when he is below capacity of being the man that he views himself that he needs to be, he will continue to push himself to do it anyway. And I am not going to take that away from him. I'm going to start crying. But I will watch because my husband is stubborn. And I know that there could be a situation where he doesn't need help, where he does need help, but doesn't want to admit that he needs help. Or fully believes that he does not need help, but I'm a worrywart, so I'm going to watch anyway. And if I need to jump in and help, I will. But otherwise, I'll cook for you. I will do my wifely duties. I will make sure that you're comfortable. Living life as a man is a different struggle than living life as a woman. When I can't clean the house, I feel like a fucking failure. And having my ankle fucked up and having my elbow broken, I was not able to do the things that I wanted to do or felt that I needed to do as the wife and a mom at the household. So I would push myself to do it. And if you told me, babe, you need to go lay it back down, I might get a little combative about it because I'm already a wounded animal. I already feel like a failure. This is the one thing that I have right now in this moment. Please let me sweep the fucking floor. Right? So if you are able to lift a 40-pound box, it hurts, but you're able to lift it and move it, I'm going to let you do it. I'm not going to mother you. I'm not going to babysit you. I'm going to be your wife. I'm going to support you when it's needed. If I see you struggling and I foresee a catastrophic thing happening, I will helicopter watch. I will be a helicopter wife. I don't care. But otherwise, I will take you at your word. You know your limits. And majority of the time when you need help, you ask for it. Why are you just looking at me?
Because you said a lot, and it's still registering.
Okay.
It's like a camera sensor with the... Remember we were watching last night?
Yeah.
Our worth as men stops at provision. Provision sometimes looks like opening a jar. Mm-hmm. Provision sometimes looks like moving the heavy box. There's teamwork that goes into that, but what we bring to a relationship is protect, provide, and lead. Mm-hmm. Especially now.
Right.
We don't have to hunt our food. Everything is in mass. Like it's there. We have things that without us being able to do those things removes the ability for us to differentiate ourselves from you.
Okay.
If you wanted to be with a woman, you'd have been with a woman.
Right.
You want a protector. You want a provider. You want a leader. You
want a strong man.
You want a strong man.
Mm-hmm.
In the event that I have back issues.
You do.
And I live in back pain every day. And there are days that I'm not fucking doing anything because my back hurts. I don't complain about it. It's not going to resolve anything. I'll take a little bit of Advil and suffer because that's all I can fucking do.
Right.
If on those days you were unaware that I was in pain like that and you could tell that I was, or you could not tell that I was having a rough day and you were like, hey, can you go pull that 900 box thing out of the fucking attic? I'll do it tomorrow, babe. I don't feel like doing shit today. That's my excuse. I don't feel like doing anything today. Mm-hmm. I'm hurting. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to fucking suffer through it because that's what we do. And then tomorrow, if I don't hurt, I'll get the boxes down. In the event that we have to unload the car because she mentioned groceries and he's got the things that he's got going on and he is adamant about getting the groceries out and you know he's in pain, lift the cases of soda. There's a bag of rice in there. You grab the bag of rice. Let him grab what he can carry and just aid him because he's still able to provide assistance.
Right.
And it still makes him feel like he is a man, a strong man. This comes down to understanding what separates us as a species and what our needs are. And being understanding as a wife. Where did we lose that? Where have we gotten so...
You mean humanity or...
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, definitely not us.
Okay.
But as a species, where did we stop working together as a team and make everything solely about division of labor? Because isn't that what it is now? Everybody wants 50-50.
Right, division of labor. It is.
Sometimes it's not 50-50. It's never going to be 50-50. If you made $20,000 a year and I made $100,000 a year, we can't live 50-50.
I'm not paying 50-50 on shit.
You're not paying half of anything.
I'm paying $20 towards everything.
Right, because that's all you have to give.
Right.
It's no different with our bodies. It's no different with our emotional state. You are not going to get equality in life with anyone. Nature is not fucking fair. You are going to have days that you're at 100% and I'm at 1. And you're going to have to fucking carry my fat ass through life because that's what's happening right now. And there are going to be days that I'm at 100% and you're at 1. And I'm going to caveman your ass and drag you along kicking and screaming even though you don't want to because you're my woman. That's the division of labor. That's how life looks. We have things that we expect of our person, but even more so, we have things that we expect of ourselves.
Right.
It is one thing to let your partner down because you're in pain or because you're having a rough moment. It is another to not live at the standard of a person that you believe you are. And if you don't have a standard and you don't have a set expectation of who you are as a person, why are you existing right now? What have you done with your life? Because you are nothing more than a fart in the wind, being blown around until you're dissipated. I have set expectations of what I am capable of doing. And if I am not capable of adhering to those things, it's a fucking problem for me. And it's going to make me feel like less of a man. You will feel like less of a woman or less of a mother or less of a father. That is normal shit. Having a team means that there is somebody there to pick up that slack when you can't do it. If you weaponize that and make it a point to never do any of it and you fucking give up and quit, that's a very different conversation than what's being had. And the fact that I even had to say that means that there are people out there who have such a low level of comprehension.
An abysmal amount.
I'm just leaving it at that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to do either a TikTok or like a really short video of the visual of you carrying me and then me pulling you. And then something about like us getting each other through the hard day or something. But my elbow needs to heal first.
So is your ankle.
Yeah.
You're going to try to fucking drag me.
No, my ankle's pretty okay. I would have to wear the brace definitely, but I think like probably another 3 weeks on my elbow. I can get you through life.
We can, I can put on my armor.
Yeah.
Because it's got that handle on the back.
I was thinking about that.
And you can just drag me full kit.
Yeah. I could do it.
You know.
Can we do it on the tile?
It'd be a lot easier on the tile. And I definitely don't want to be in the dirt. Last thing I want is Florida sand in my ass crack because my pants pull off while you're fucking dragging me. But
that's exactly. It would be really slow too. You get clumps of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
How was my answer? Was that a good answer? Because you were excited to see what I was going to say.
Well, I wanted to see how much of that you covered because I'm really shocked that they asked you that question and not me that question because I live that. So I know what he's going through and I can give my perspective. So the fact that they asked you, I did want to see what you were going to say. I like that our values align the way that they do. We would not have the relationship we have if we did not think so similar on things. And it's not codependency. It's not slavery.
It's an understanding.
It is an agreement between the two of us that this is what we value in life and we are going to hold true to that. And when we're tired, we're going to fucking carry each other. I don't know. I don't like anything about the dating game right now. And the fact that our podcast is solely about relationships and I am becoming so jaded because of what society is doing to relationships and marriage. Like it makes this difficult some days.
I get it. Me too.
Because we get emails where people are living that mindset and want to know why you have a fuck all men. Men are the problem, but you're with one. Don't fucking send an email. Fix your fucking mindset. You're the problem in this. I don't know. I like that woman is trying to be more understanding of her man. I don't like that she's not able to have that conversation with him and had to come to us for it. Right? And I understand that that's what we do. There are a lot of people in situations that can't communicate, so they have to get an outside opinion. And that's the beauty of our podcast. We are giving them an outside opinion, but eventually you're going to have to get to the point where you can communicate with your person.
Right.
Because if we are just giving our advice on everything and you're not communicating with your person, your marriage is going to fail. Your relationship is going to fail because you can't communicate.
That's like me watching painting videos and then trying to enter in a contest with the first painting I've ever made.
Right. You have to learn.
Right. Especially if you want to see some type of reward out of it.
Yep.
So you were pleasantly surprised by my response?
I did like your response. It was very on par with what I was going to say. I would like to point out that we're not saying not to email us. I very much want to help people. That's the whole point of this. That's why we're still doing this a year and a half later. We want to give you guys the tools, but I also want you to realize what the actual problem is.
Right.
And the problem is you are not safe in your communication or in your relationship, and that you can't.
Or your mindset.
Right. You've got something going on with you, and all of these other questions about the person in your relationship is not the problem. It's not them. It's you. You can't control anyone. You have full dominion over yourself. That's it. And if you can't communicate your needs and be in 100% agreement and honesty with your person about what's going on in your relationship, what does it say about you? They could be the problem. They 100% could be 100% all them.
Right.
And what are you going to do about it? Because you can't change them. You can't make them do something they don't want to do. You can communicate your needs as effectively as possible and pray that they give enough about you to start working on things to fix the relationship or the marriage. But that's a them problem. And if they don't want to do that, how are you going to make them change? You're not. You're going to explain your needs in a loving manner to try to fucking make them realize that you are unhappy and hope that they will match the request that you are giving them to start fixing the problem.
And we're going to do that using I statements.
Right. And that's the point of the podcast.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
I'm actually done so that this works out. I got to use the bathroom and I don't want to do this anymore today. Okay. So we have one more episode to record and we can do that Thursday or Friday, but I need a break. So,
okay.
Remember guys, life is a choice.
So choose to be better.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye guys.